Celeb cyberbullying. Why trolls attacked Katie Couric and what has Chrissy Teigen off social media. And Kid Cudi comes clean. How the superstar rapper is getting real about a taboo topic for too many men. Plus, she plays the former First Lady on the show Whoopi can't get enough of. Seal Award on what both candidates can learn from her new series, Grade. Here come Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Jedediah Bila. Now, let's get things started.
We want to start by urging everyone being impacted by Hurricane Matthew to do everything you can to be safe. If they're telling you to move, get out of there. This Matthew is not playing. The Caribbean islands like Haiti just took huge hits, so do not forget about Haiti once the storm passes. And to find out what you can do to help in relief, you can go to our website, because you know this is the second time they've taken such a huge hit, and they're going to need a lot of help.
They're going to need the help. I just want to mention, you know, my husband's father's from Haiti. I've been to Haiti so many times, and all we ever see in the media is about Haiti's poverty. Haiti is a beautiful country with beautiful people. They have resort hotels. They have wonderful restaurants, five-star restaurants, wonderful artisans. I hope that people will go to Haiti, and that does also help the country.
Yes, but I think people need to get some help to Haiti now, because the devastation is outrageous. You know, on top of the earthquake stuff. So we really got to, you know, we have to lend a hand. It's our neighbor, it's our friends, it's our family. And on a different note, celebrities are speaking out about how cyberbullying is changing the way they approach social media. A lot of Chrissy Teigen's fans are upset that she went private on Twitter because of trolls, and Katie Couric says that she can't believe how mean people are to her online. What's the solution?
I scaled back. I used to have more of a presence on Instagram and Twitter that was personal. I'd share more of my personal life if I was dating someone, or if I was, you know, out at a place that I loved. And some of the comments that I would get, they would affect me. And I didn't like that about myself. I felt like I shouldn't care, like I shouldn't be concerned with what people thought, but I did, because it would make me reflect on people. And I'd say, well, why are people so mean? They don't even know me. And I scaled back.
What was the motivation to share in the first place?
I think I just felt like it was a space that was mine, and that was a part of my life. And it felt odd to have work stuff and not, if I was dating someone, I kind of wanted him to be part of it. Or if I went to a place I loved, I wanted all of that to be part of a space that was mine. And it felt safe in an odd way, and you don't realize it's not safe. No. There's people there that are there just to make you feel bad. And for me, it was hard.
There are people there that are just meant to, that are trolls, and they're trying to do bad. But if you think about it, there are 1.71 billion active users on Facebook, 500 million users on Instagram, 313 million users on Twitter. And social media can really be a great thing. I mean, you think about the Arab Spring and how people are able to communicate, and how on Facebook you get to connect with friends and family members. So I happen to like social media.
But social media is fine. But if you're feeling bad because you're reading bad stuff about yourself being said to you, I might add, by people you don't know, who don't know anything about you, I think it goes to, why are you reading their stuff? Once you post, you know, once you post whatever you're going to post, why are you going back to see what people have to say?
It's a character flaw. It's not a character flaw. I feel like it is in a way, because it's addictive.
Oh,
and
you Donald
feed
Trump?
off
Why are you doing that?
No, but you feed off of, you hear positive stuff, and you feed off of it. Like, you know, I used to go on and do Fox News Hits, and you get positive comments, and it makes you feel good, and you go back and you're like, well, thanks. You feel like happy, but then you also see the negative, and you get affected. You're human. So
what does that tell you, though?
Well, social media is also
also, it's engaging. So it's talking and listening. So a lot of times, a lot of the things you put out there, it's about starting a conversation.
Yeah,
so
but you can't expect people not to give you their opinion if you ask them for it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, so if you're putting stuff out there for the purpose of people commenting, if it's hurting you what they're saying, why does it matter what they say? I understand wanting to put it out and sharing it. I don't understand the need to go and see what people have to say about it.
But I agree with that, but I think that you sort of have to have a tough skin if you are on social media.
You do.
But there's this wonderful engagement. I think you can have your finger on the pulse of societal issues.
You're talking about a different thing. I'm talking about why are you, when you post what you want to post, why are you reading what
sometimes
people are
because that's the
saying?
engagement. You get to hear what
Then
someone
you
else
can't bitch
thinks.
about getting your feelings hurt.
No, you cannot. You cannot.
But if you see someone...
and I don't.
I wasn't saying you were bitching. I'm just saying you can't be surprised. You know.
But I think the thing is that sometimes the conversation continues below, because I have friends that we play out jokes that keep going and people keep commenting, but sometimes buried in there when you're going through it is something that you're like, whoa, who are you?
Yeah, on occasion, but I think we're talking about a consistent thing, because I know that there are times when folks put stuff out here and then they go to see what people are saying about it. So I think you have to make a decision. Well, either you know you're going to get your feelings hurt and you can take it, or you know that they're out there and you say, you know what, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to tell you what I want to tell you, and I'm not going to see what you have to say.
That's why you're also on a show like this, where when you give your opinion, you lose half the audience already. So now they're out there with the ability to say things to you that they know will hurt your feelings. And most people who are trolling are going to go after a woman's looks, you see. And that's why, what's her name, poor Katie Couric, who's famous and she's rich, she's iconic, she's beautiful, and she's still wounded by nasty things they say about her looks, because they know that that's your spot. When I was on the radio, I had a radio show, and they hated me. So they'd call up and say, I hate you, basically, and you're ugly. And I'd say, look, I'm on the radio. You've never even seen me. That's a true story. So I really think that that's what this is about. It's like a way to get back at you, because they don't like that you, like, you know, me, I hate Trump. So they, like, hate me because I hate Trump.
It's funny, like the policy pushback, if I say something and I get policy pushback, that doesn't bother me at all.
That's the engagement.
But when it becomes personal, I don't think it's that I sit and say, oh, I care what this person thinks. I think I reflect on what is wrong with the world that you need to say that about.
You put it, this is what, the truth is, you put it on yourself and you start asking, why are they saying about me?
I think sometimes if you see some of the language they use, so one thing that I would encourage people, like when we're having conversations in a show called The View, there are places people can join the conversation. The problem is when they're not joining productively. Like, we love to hear back from people about, well, some of us like to hear back from people, but jump in with your opinion, because none of us mind being disagreed with. It's just the language sometimes shocks me.
Look, the bottom line is, I mean, I always say this, it's the Twitter thugs with keyboard courage hiding behind the egg avatar in their mama's basement.
Thank you.
And so that's what you got to think about. Those are those people.
but
they're not people that have
people don't do that. Most people don't recognize who is berating them. They don't. And then it becomes, they've heard, what's wrong with me? And I'm saying, if you don't engage them, you say whatever you want to say. But if you don't want to know how people feel about what you say, then don't look at it, because it's going to hurt your feelings.
Well, I don't mind if they disagree. That's not my issue. My issue is the attacks and the nasty rhetoric about it.
It's always the egg avatar.
I don't care.
It's always the egg avatar. Give an eggs a bad name.
Why is that? They're so anonymous. They're
anonymous because they're scared. They don't want it.
Well, because you can't, it's very easy to pick off people whose faces are there. See, we have the cojones to stand behind what we believe. And we have the cojones to come into work every day knowing there are people ready to pick us up. The point of the matter is, this is what we do for a living. And we have every right to do this, and you have every right to respond. I just don't have to read it. We'll be right back. One more hot topic.
Coming up, online dating disaster. The guy kicked off a dating site for posting what kind of woman he really wants. Is he horrible or just honest? So is it okay to cry at work?
I always felt that if I cried, they would think I wasn't strong enough.
I don't care how strong you are in life. No one's strong all the time.
Are you a crier?
Whoopi, need you even ask?
Oh yeah, we keep it real on The View on ABC. Buzzed about new series that's not politics as usual.
You know, oversharing online may have torn apart upcoming marriages like NBA star Jeff Whitty and his playmate Kennedy Summers. She posted that she was messing around with the girls he met on Tinder, and then she kicked him out. And he swears he didn't do it. But even if he was just flirting with these chicks on Tinder, should he be doing that? No. Is that a smart thing to do if you're getting ready to get married, dummy?
The best part of this story, though, is that she had his Instagram password and went on the account and posted a photo of herself, a hot picture, and said, you know, I cheated on this girl from his account, basically, which is hysterical. But at the same time, once again, social media, if I had trouble with my man, go to your man's, you know, do whatever you have to do, work it out. Don't go on his social media account and then talk to his fans, and then keep social media out of your relationship.
Are these people still going to get married?
No. But they got back together in between this happening.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess a pretty good burn. She embarrassed him publicly and humiliated him. That was pretty good.
On his account, though?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was a pretty good burn.
I feel like that made her look bad. Whereas she would have just said to him, I'm not going to take any of your nonsense to his face and walked. I would have respected her, but don't go on his Instagram account and try to do it.
The worst part is he gave her the password. If you know you're doing this stuff and then you give the one you're cheating on your password, she's going to find the trail of what you're doing.
But, you know, he wants to get caught.
Secretly, I think they all do.
Because isn't it a reflection of really what's going on in their relationship rather than social media's fault?
That's right.
Like, we always blame social media for everything, but I mean, cheaters are going to cheat. He cheated on her.
Yes.
I mean,
well, maybe he didn't.
Some friends.
Yeah, I actually have his denial.
Maybe he didn't, and maybe he gave her his password with the belief that he didn't have anything to hide.
That's a big point.
You know, so maybe he did. I mean, because otherwise, why not just tell her goodbye if he wants her to? I mean, there's something's odd about it.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he put out a statement and said, I care and love her very much and wish the best for her, but I am very sick of being portrayed as this person I am not. It's possible for people to end relationships for other reasons than cheating. People that know me know my character and know I'd never cheat. So he's saying, I didn't do it.
Didn't cheat on her.
Well,
so we don't know.
So it's, you know, so we don't, once again, another great story. We don't have anything to back up.
The password thing is significant, right? Because you don't have anything to hide if you give people. Everyone in my home has my passwords. Everyone,
I got your password.
You got my password. I give my password out to everyone.
You gotta be careful with those passwords
because I don't have anything to hide.
I put stuff on her social media all the time.
I don't have
Naked
anything
pictures
to
of me.
hide.
It's
That's a great point, actually, with relationships too. Transparency. That cures a lot.
It's you know. Put it up front. If you don't have any reason not to, sure, take whatever you want.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Speaking of cheating, a woman wrote to Cosmo's online advice column because she messed around with a coworker. She said it didn't go past kissing, but he feels so guilty about it. He wants to confess it to his girlfriend, who also happens to work at the same place that they do. But she wants him to keep quiet about it. This is what happens when there's no politics to talk about. Isn't that nice? We're talking about wacky stuff. So what do you think? I mean, what the heck?
You don't double dip in the company ink.
Yeah. I don't think you dip in the company ink at all.
Oh, I totally dipped in the company ink.
Oh, it does. But does it ever end? Well,
it wasn't so much. This is where I draw the line. We spend so much time at work that it is sometimes it becomes a place where you. It's the only chance you have to meet people.
But when you break up, what do? Quit your job?
No, because there are levels to the company in different departments.
I know it's shocking, but people can actually break up and still be able to be in the same room.
I didn't run over
I think it's hard.
To me, the workplace is where you meet people. Except this one here and nothing here.
Yeah.
The View killed your sex drive, believe me. But usually people, ask Brian, he knows. Right? There's nothing to do on this show here because we're surrounded by women.
But dating people at work, I remember I dated someone at work, and my father got wind of it, and he called me, and he was like, please don't do this. This is professional suicide for you. It generally doesn't look good on you.
Especially if he's your
wasn't even a boss. It was a contemporary, and my father begged me not to do it, and I did it anyway, and it ended badly.
What happened?
Well, I dumped him, and and I didn't really dump him, but it didn't work out.
Something happened.
And something happened, and it was a really horrible situation at work.
And you had to deal with it.
Talking about me at work, and it just...
Oh, he was a cad.
A little bit. Oh, and I don't think it's a good idea.
You have to pick the right one.
But you can't be upset that the guy, you know, if the guy feels that he did something and he needs to tell his girlfriend, and you don't want him to, it's because you know it was something you shouldn't have done.
You shouldn't have done it.
And so if you had kept your lips where they're supposed to be, you wouldn't be worried.
Yep.
But see, now you starting to sweat. That's why you don't mess with people's men. I know, I'm telling you from experience.
But isn't it good that everybody knows now? Everybody in these three people now know the story, so that's good, isn't it?
Did they actually share the story yet?
Because the other girl who's been dissed knows that he's an A.
What was he? He was what?
An A.
What was the other word you used?
The girl who's been dissed.
Very nice.
Can I also say that the comment about kissing, though? They're acting like, oh, it was only kissing. That's called cheating.
It is cheating.
That's called cheating. Like, if you're going to go there, you need to take ownership of what you did.
If your tongue is not on an ice cream cone and it's in somebody else's girlfriend or somebody else's boyfriend's mouth, it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Okay? Just wrong. Sorry. You know. You can't say you didn't inhale on that one. We'll be right back.
Later, Whoopi and Billy Crystal join forces for an emotional tribute to their friend, Robin Williams.
We call what you're experiencing communication issues.
Rapper Kid Cudi posted a letter to his fans saying that he checked into rehab to treat his depression, and apparently it has begun to inspire other young black men to come forward about mental health issues. And this is a case where social media can do great stuff, and it can make it a little easier for folks to open up once they realize that, you know, other people are having the same issues.
That's a wonderful thing.
It's hard for men to admit that they're suffering from depression. It's difficult. They don't want to go to the doctor. They don't want to say they're depressed, and it's terrible, really.
And especially a significant issue in the African-American community, because apparently an estimated 5 to 10% of black men have depression, but only 1/4 of African-Americans seek mental health care compared to 40% of whites. It's something that's generally...
Is that women and men or just men?
Men.
Just men.
And it's something that is handled, my experience is that they seek guidance from their pastor. Or their church, or not at all, as opposed to going to...
I think mental illness with kids, men, women, across the boards holds a stigma that it's sometimes so vulnerable to admit. I've battled depression and anxiety, and when I spoke about it once on the show, I actually got great feedback of people that came out and spoke, you know, comforting. But I think you also have that vulnerable side of it, because people said, you know, I never would have guessed with you because you're so happy. And I think it reminds you that everyone walks their own path. Everyone's got something. And I think the more people normalize everything from therapy to mental illness, that it will realize it's out there more than you realize.
Well, William Styron wrote an amazing, he was a great writer and a man who suffered from what we call depression. And I was just listening to his book the other day, and he said, you know, we should not call it depression because that's not what it is. It's a brain storm. There's a storm that's going on. And when I read that, I thought, oh, okay, I understand. That, I think people would understand. Because when you say you're depressed, people think, oh, you're just sitting around and you're like this. But that's not what depression is. There are many, many colors to depression. And if you think even that you might have a little bit of it, you can talk to. There are people out there you can talk to.
Well, there's medication. There's a lot of medication available now for severe depression. You know, I want to ask you a question. In the black community, a lot of times I think that maybe the black community feels like most of the issues that they suffer from are societal and racist. And I think that it might be like, you know, well, if you would just take away racism, I would feel better. So maybe that prevents people.
But I don't know that when your brain is, the chemicals are doing what they're doing. I think sometimes that's how we feel. It's like you're just tired of it. You get a malaise. But I think I think it probably is part of it, but I don't want to say that it's all about racism. I think a lot of it is all about your chemical body.
I think that's true, but I had that question earlier when we were discussing this during our Hot Topics meeting, and apparently that is a big part of it. Health and Human Services, the Office of Minority Health, did a study and said that because blacks are more likely to be victims of violent crime and racism, thus leading to PTSD, one of the common mental health disorders is major depression and suicide among young black men. So it is a factor, which is really fascinating. But I wonder oftentimes why there's such a stigma to it, because if we're talking about an illness, like if you had heart disease, you would fix it, or you would go to a doctor. Why do you think
people don't go to doctors? No, they don't. People don't. Well, women don't in particular.
I think with men though, I've had men come to me, friends of mine, and they feel judged because society expects men to always be tough and strong. You know, I've had female friends say to me, well, I can't date a guy who cries. And I say, why not? They're human. They're human beings. Like, men are allowed to show that they're going through something, but they often feel that if they show that, society will judge them as weak and not masculine. So men in general have a hard time saying, I'm suffering with a problem and I need help.
So what you were saying, Sonia, with many illnesses, you have medical tests, you have blood tests, you have things you can say, look, here's the problem. With mental health, it's not the same thing. It's somewhat subjective with doctors, and there are broad strokes. Like you said, depression is a lot of different layers. Anxiety is an umbrella term for many broken down things.
It also,
so I think the big thing here is because we can't say, look at this.
In terms of
it's a vulnerability.
Do you remember years ago, this comes from the top also, there was a guy named Thomas Eagleton, I think was his name. He was running for president or vice president. And they found out that he had had shock treatments and he was seeing a shrink. He was eliminated from the race immediately. So it comes from the top. I mean, you didn't want to talk politics, but here it is. So, you know, it's like I always say, candidates for presidency should be given a mental health test, especially now. Positions eschew mental illnesses of any kind. Imagine how that trickles down.
Well, I tell you, I know that people have been threatened with being fired. I know that people have been threatened in other ways who may have felt like there was something that they needed to talk to a doctor about and went to someone who said, no, don't do it. You know, once somebody thinks you're crazy, it opens up a whole other can of worms. And so that's why I think it's really important for us to say, the anxiety may be there for lots of reasons, but when we're talking about the brainstorm, get yourself, tell somebody. You don't have to carry it. You do not have to carry it.
And you're not alone.
And you're not alone. Look at this table. We'll be right back.
I'm Katie McGinty, and I approve this message because I'll put middle-class families first.
What they're looking for when they're online dating, but apparently one guy got kicked off of a site for being a little too specific and a little, I don't know. You'll see. BravoTV.com posted his profile where he says he will only date skinny women under 30 years old. Well, he's got it. Apparently, he's got a good reason. Should he have been banned, or was he just being clear or honest about what he was looking for?
He shouldn't have been banned. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but this guy has a really limited view of the world. I mean, if you're lucky enough in life to find someone that you click with, that you can trust, I would hope you would look beyond their age and their dress size to try to figure that out. And I read this and I was like, how superficial can you be that you're willing to X out everybody else? I'm not interested in exploring anything. Like, who do you think you are? You surprised that you got to exclude half the world? I don't like that.
I walked away from it with the exact opposite impression. Yeah, I walked away from it. I read it, and he said he explained he only wants to date women that are under 30 because he wants to start a family very soon, and he feels like women that are in their 30s, you know, mid to late 30s, one, they're getting older, and he feels as if everything has to be fast-tracked, and he also said he's just not attracted to bigger women. I kind of felt like, put it all out there. Be honest with me. Right. That way I'm not wasting my time with you, and I'm not going to pick you.
Nobody's going to pick that guy.
Well, you guys, another thing to the story was, though, a woman wrote to him, and what he wrote back is, because she didn't fit the requirements, there's obviously a large population of Scottish ladies, because he's in Scotland, who have a clearly unrealistic opinion of their own appeal, attractiveness as potential partners. I wish you all the success in your search, but would suggest that you lower your standards somewhat.
No, but you know what?
Well, that's just me.
You know what? If I was going to put that lovely.
Yeah, he sounds like an amazing person, but
I think it's great that he did that, because we know who to avoid.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if I were doing it, I would write, if you're boring, don't call me. If you have halitosis, don't call me. If you are voting for Trump, don't call me. There are many things that I would write there, because I'm serious about who I don't want to go out with, and he's serious about himself. Yeah. So good for him, even though he's a jerk.
I want to meet the woman that reads that and likes this guy,
Listen, you know what? There are listen, I have seen the craziest, jerkiest, boneheadian men find women who love them.
Yeah.
They're boneheads find boneheaders, and they bonehead together.
Right.
You know, it's kind of wicked.
It's honest.
You know, but I'm glad he can say, you know, I want to have kids, and older women can't have kids. And you know how he knows that? Because women talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
My clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Shut up. That's true.
You know, on the other hand, a woman in her 30s is more interested in having children because her clock is ticking.
True.
So he might find somebody more suitable.
On the same track.
As you say, he's kind of dumb.
Well,
he's just,
I just limited.
If I look at the people I've dated, though, if I had that attitude, I wouldn't have dated any of them. You know, I dated an older man. I'm dating a younger man. I've dated people that don't fit my physical type. I could say I like tall, dark, and handsome. I might meet, you know, a short blonde guy and be like, wow, he's funny, he's amazing. It just, people who look at the world like that aren't living. They're not letting themselves go out there and see what's what.
But you know what?
It turns
that's
my
him.
stomach.
That's him. You ain't going out with him. We ain't going out with him. Let's move on.
As a matter of fact, I am going out with him. I meant to tell everybody I'm moving to Scotland with my face cream.
The face cream that you don't have, Joy, that's fake?
That fake face cream that they put out
about
everywhere.
that fake face cream.
Just quickly, I am not leaving The View, everybody, so stop saying that I am. And I am not fronting a face cream.
You have nothing to do with it.
It's a scam. It's coming out of, we cannot get these people.
My grandmother asked me the other day, I can't believe that Joy is leaving The View for that cosmetics company. I was like, what are you talking about?
Don't buy it, people.
Don't buy it.
We've said it before.
Candace's mother bought the cream, okay? So
that's how we found out about it.
We need an intervention at this point.
Yeah, so it's not happening.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe they can't even find it.
So just on a quick note, yesterday I was with Billy Crystal to help inaugurate the Robin Williams Center for Actors, Broadcasters, and Recording Artists here in New York. And it was kind of wonderful to get to talk to Billy and several other people. Is there the picture or you lost? There it is. So we had a whole conversation about it. And they kept asking, they kept saying, you know, well, how do you think Robin would have felt? I said he would have hated this, and then he would have done a 40-minute bit on why this was crazy.
Yeah.
And so,
brilliant.
Would have been better to have him with us, but if we don't have him with us, at least we have this amazing center named after a fabulous performer. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Celia Ward, and if you think you've seen crazy antics this political season, just wait till you see my new show. It's called Graves, and I'm coming up next.
Tomorrow on The View, it's the day we've all been waiting for.
This is huge!
Friday! And you know we've got the hottest hot topics.
Yeah.
Plus, Elizabeth Vargas Vegas hits the table. Tomorrow on The View on ABC.
Graves is razor-sharp new political satire that America needs right now. And I wouldn't BS you about this. Celia Ward plays a former First Lady whose husband suddenly realizes how much his presidency messed up the country. She has political. So I don't think a lot of people know this about you, but you are a wonderful artist.
Oh, thank you,
You're
Whoopi.
a great painter. I mean, it's like,
wow.
It's
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Was that your first love? Or?
That was my major in college.
Really?
Fine arts and painting. Yeah, I got a little derailed. And into this acting world. Yeah. And so I'm getting back into it.
I love it. I love it. Love it.
Thank you. Always have this gracefulness and elegance to you. Was that something you kind of picked up? You're a Southern belle. You're from Meridian, do you say Mississippi?
Meridian, Mississippi.
Mississippi,
that's true. People would ask me, particularly about this role, did you have to do anything to prepare, and I went, God, I went to Sears department store charm school at 12. They actually had that, and in the South, ballet and charm school. I must have gone to 2 charm schools. You're groomed to marry well, and and how to walk like a lady and talk like a lady and sit like a lady, and that's in my bones. Lord have mercy.
I love that.
Well, you go ahead, baby.
Yeah, you started in the business 30 years ago. There have been so many changes for women. Do you think it's different for women in Hollywood now than it was when you started?
Oh, well, I think there's still the same sort of ageism, certainly. But I think with all the new outlets for opportunities to work, my heavens, there's like 200-something channels.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, there'll be more for a lot of ages and a lot of women, for sure.
You hear a lot about, I don't come from the acting world, but you hear a lot about the experience for women that they land in Hollywood and they have these casting couch moments where they're turned into objects. Have you ever had that experience where you've been out for a job and you've been made to feel like it was casting couch or you're out the door?
Oh, yes. I've been asked to, would you like to take a shower? No! They had just finished, I had to sit there while they played a whole set of tennis to wait to meet on a project with major mega stars, right? And the guy says, would you like to take a shower? I said, I don't think so. Thank you, I'm fine. But the biggest thing that ever happened to me was it was a humongous movie, would have changed, altered my career forever. And I go and I meet the director, and the director goes, it's Celia I want. I'm flown to London. I go and meet with a costume designer. I'm picking out my wardrobe in department stores with them. I'm meeting with the hair guy. And I go back to LA, and the producer, the executive producer, a very powerful one, says, I think I want Celia to come and read for me at his house. And I was raised really well, and I'm not going to his house.
Good for you.
And I said, I will go back and read for the director, but I'm not going to read for this producer at his home. Did not get that part.
Good for you.
Good for you, though.
I'm really glad you didn't.
I'm glad I didn't either, because it wasn't worth it to me.
No, it's not. It's never.
I feel that if only young women were taught how to handle those situations when you come to Hollywood, you're really not taught.
No.
How do you deal with these things?
Nobody prepares you for it. You hear stuff and you go in your head, that can't be what they just said. And you look and you think, oh my God, it is what you just said. It's like, that's not gonna happen, dude, ever. It didn't happen a lot to me, but once or twice. But I love this show. I can't even tell you how much I love this show. It made me laugh. It made me so happy. Nick Nolte is brilliant. You play Margaret Graves, the former First Lady who has her political ambitions. Her husband, Richard Graves, was president 25 years ago, and he makes the decision to try to right some of the wrongs he committed during his time in office. I mean, there are a million questions, but what was the moment you read it and said, oh no, I'm in?
that wonderful F word explosion she just had on the screen. I went, oh, I'm throwing all that breeding out the window, and this will be the most fun thing I've done in years. It was so cathartic. It's so damn smart. And I love smart material and smart, strong women, and she's a kick because you get to see the underbelly of Margaret too. Just you wait.
I'm so excited. You know, I'm so excited. Listen, y'all have to keep an eye out for this show. And, thank you for coming. Come anytime, Scylla. We love you. We want to see you anytime you want to come.
I love all this show rocks.
So you can see Scylla engraved on Epix. Now, it might take you a minute to realize it is a channel, Epix. Check it out. It's coming on October 16th. You will not be sorry. I'm telling you, you will not be sorry if you spend some time with this show. We'll be right back.
Before I had the shooting, burning, pins and needles of diabetic nerve pain.
Her painful relapse plus a revelation that'll move you to tears.
No, we're not done, Joy. Welcome back. We're still here. We got about 40, 50 seconds.
To kill?
Yeah.
They can hear you right now.
Yeah, everyone can see you and hear you. So you're not going anywhere. Everybody's thrilled about that.
I don't want that to continue, though. The skincare line.
So
at least pay me for
Which
it.
company is it?
I don't know, and I would never say it anywhere.
Where they're based.
But you know what we can tell you? We're thrilled that you all came.
Yeah.
We're glad that you are based here. And we want you to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy whatever view you happen upon because we're done.
Friday Night Football kicks off bright and early Friday mornings. I'm Brett Thackeray.
And I'm Allie Lanyon. We are